Hey, welcome everybody from Psych A01. You don't really know me, but you probably know of me. I'm typically the guy that would be teaching your course, but I'm on sabbatical this term, and so Dwayne Pare is teaching your course. But he has allowed me to kind of come in for one of my, I guess we'd call it passion projects, where at the end of every course, we do this cool, what we call a work integrated learning or experiential learning project, where you guys get to take a lot of the stuff you've been learning, but then apply it in a real world context with real world consequences. And that's what this is all about. And so I want to just start by introducing you to my guest here, Bruce Kidd. Wow, where do we start, Bruce? Bruce was an Olympian, 1964, correct? I believe, in the 5K and the 10K run, and also the marathon, or not the marathon?
I didn't run the marathon,
You
but I was entered in it. So
you were in,
I
okay,
I
cool.
did run marathons, but not in Tokyo.
Yeah, but fantastic, and so he's been in sport, and he continues to be associated with the Olympic committees and such. But he also was our principal at UT Scarborough, our 10th principal at UT Scarborough, not so long ago. So I guess I'd say you were my boss for a while, when got to know Bruce a little during that time. And I hadn't seen Bruce for a while, and then on CP24 one day I'm watching, and there's Bruce, and he's talking about this issue that he's very passionate about. And I think I'm gonna let you kind of describe that issue, Bruce, because you discuss it so well. So why don't we just give the overall story? What's the context that we're thinking about here?
Well, thank you very much, Steve, and thanks, Dwayne, for enabling us to come into your classroom. And hi, everybody. Uh, as Steve mentioned, we got to know each other when I was principal of the University of Toronto Scarborough, and I admired the innovative way that Steve was conducting this class and engaging students. Um, I'm currently involved in a campaign to ban ads for gambling, particularly ads for sports betting. As you heard, I've been involved in sport all my life. And when I first experienced the tsunami of ads that now accompany sports broadcasts, the first year or two of them uh, with stars like Wayne
Yeah,
Gretzky
yeah,
and Austin Matthews, I became grossed out. That was not sport that I experienced. That was not sport that I try to promote in my work as a sports leader.
yeah.
And I got increasingly upset about those ads. I wrote an op-ed for the Globe and Mail, and that led to a number of calls and emails from friends all over Canada
Mm-hmm.
who said, I agree with you entirely. Is there an organization to fight these ads? And I looked around and there wasn't. And so, with a few of those friends, we formed an organization,
Mm-hmm.
the Campaign to Ban Ads for Gambling. And we are pushing the federal government to introduce legislation, not unlike the legislation that exists that ban ads for tobacco
Yeah,
and cannabis, and for the same health reasons that the federal government ban ads for those products, to do the same for gambling.
yeah,
And there's now a bill in the Canadian Senate, Bill S-269, and it will work its way through the Senate this fall, early winter, and then go to the House of Commons. And we're organizing a full court press on those senators and MPs to bring this bill into law. But
yeah,
in the meantime, uh, I'm deeply concerned about the effect of these ads upon uh, particularly children and youth
yeah,
who are not protected from these ads, young men who love sports, who are overrepresented among gamblers and problem gamblers and other vulnerable people.
yeah.
And along with Steve, Professor Jordans, from whom I have always learned about the psychological determinations of some of the things that are happening in our society. Um, we've thought about engaging you in coming up with a counter ad campaign to draw attention to the harms created by these ads and the harms created by gambling. I mean, what is clear, Canada has been so naive about this. Members of Parliament in Ottawa have told me over and over again that when they passed the bill to legalize sports betting in 2021, they had no clue that there would be this bombardment of ads the minute it became legalized. And they had no clue about the research documenting the harms from ads in other parts of the world, Europe, Australia, and so on. The evidence clearly shows that ads do work. They're enormously effective in persuading people who wouldn't otherwise think about betting on sports to bet on sports. And they're enormously effective in grooming children and youth who are not legally entitled to bet in Canada and most of the other countries in the world into finding ways to bet anyway, creating false accounts, using their parents' credit cards, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, I mean, it used to be you had to draw people into some seedy location or something like that. For now, all you have to do is convince them to take their phone out of their pocket.
That is correct, and as Steve will tell you, the ads and the mechanisms on the phone are designed to hook people into multiple bets. So I'm upset about that. We've created this campaign, and Dwayne and Steve have this great idea to engage you in the fight back, and I'm very grateful to you for that.
Yeah, I think it's very cool. I meant to look up the quote again because I get it wrong. I think it's Mia Angelou, but anyway, somebody said the quite simple thing: "Hey, if you see something in the world you don't like, fix it, change it, at least try." And I'd like to say, Bruce is retired. He could be chilling on a beach playing golf somewhere, and maybe you do sometimes, I don't know. But he also is engaged, remaining as engaged enough that when he sees something he doesn't like, he does something about it. And this is, part of what I like about these projects is a demonstration to you that you can do that too. You can become part of these causes. And there are a lot of things we don't like about the world, and we have to choose our passions, of course. But I hope that in this project you'll see, I'm hoping you'll actually see things change in Canada and that you may be part of that. And so, that's why I think this is really cool. So as we've discussed, I've got links for you to that bill that Bruce mentioned, and I encourage you to look at that because it kind of gives you a glimpse into Parliament and government, how laws are changed and such. And it's a very well-written bill. I was really impressed by that. So that's there. There's also a link to Bruce's website, and there's a link to that article that I posted where I talk about some of the psychology of this. And, that's what makes it relevant to this course. Bruce mentioned, ads for cigarettes and cannabis, and we quite easily say, yeah, we shouldn't be pushing that on anybody because there's potential dangers to some. But the psychological risk is just as strong. Psychological addictions can be just as powerful. They can be deadly. They lead to suicide in some cases where people feel so, consumed by the debts and stuff that they've racked up. So it's a very serious issue.
One suicide a day because of sports betting in the UK.
One a day.
Okay. More than one a day.
More than one a day. So, yeah. So, part of that's also what I want you to grasp is that, addictions are addictions, and psychological addictions can be just as powerful. And that's part of the message we want you to send. So, again, to give you a sense, what you're going to be doing is working in a team with 3 other people. I hope not your friends. I'd encourage you to find 3 different people that you don't know, because there's always opportunity in meeting new people. And so, I'd encourage you to consider that. But work in this group and pretend that you're an ad agency and Bruce has come to you and said, "Hey, we're BanAds for Bad Ads for Gambling, right? .ca. Yep. And we would like you to reach. Bruce and I were mentioning this earlier. You are kind of the target market. All of you, the young people who are now being bombarded by these ads. It's really important that they understand the dangers at play, and that they, if they wish, that they're actually part of changing things. And so, yeah, our charge to you will be to create an ad of some sort, and we imagine a few different ways this could go. So it could be anywhere from a very targeted ad to try to encourage people to reach out to MPPs and senators and try to encourage them, let them know about the bill, S269. Do I have that right? I want to get that right. Yep. Let them know about that bill and let them know they can contact senators or MPPs and say that they would like to see that bill passed. But you can also do something more general. If you just want to do an ad about the dangers of sports betting, or if you want to do one about the dangers of gambling in general, that would be particularly fine. Outside of that, we're going to give you a rubric that will kind of describe the features of a good public service announcement, and that you can use that to kind of guide your creation. And we're also going to use that to assess them as we go. So that'll be kind of an important part. But other than that, it's really left to you and your creativity. In fact, Bruce and I were just saying, you people know better how to reach you people than we people do. I said that really badly, but Bruce and I are now on the older end of the spectrum. You guys know what things are like in your world, and it's you guys we're worried about. Yeah, Bruce.
Steve, just to illustrate that point, when I was warden of Hart House, and I hope all the first-year students at UTSC go down to the St. George campus at some point and enter and take advantage of Hart House, in which all U of T students from all three campuses have membership. Yep. But we prepared an annual communications campaign to announce our various programs. Yep. And our inducements to students to engage. And before we launched that campaign, we took a sample of first-year students from across all three campuses. Yep. And we brought them in with free food and other things like that.
Pizza
and we
does
sat
wonders.
down, that's right, for a morning to get their feedback on our communications plan, because of the rapid way communications are changing. Yeah. and so on. And we learned so much from that exercise, even every year, because your generation knows how best to communicate with you. Yep. And we always changed our messaging as a result of the advice that we got. And this assignment invites you to come up with public health messages, public service messages, whether they're on the social media, whether they're billboards, whether they're other platforms directed to your generation about some aspect of problem gambling.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'll give you I think that's very well said. So, one example of my own naivety, at least, is I was told by somebody that there could be opportunities on TikTok for this, some sort of TikTok challenge around making people aware of stuff. I haven't even got a clue what that honestly means, but some of you probably do and could imagine something like that could be very impactful. And, those sorts of things we want to encourage you, whatever you think would reach you. Then that's probably a great idea. And the more varied the ideas, the better. What we're going to have, so that's going to be sort of step one, you guys working in these groups and creating those ads. And I really hope that you're proud of what you create. And I want to encourage you at any point, if you are proud, you can share your work. It's your work. It will always be your intellectual property. We would love nothing more than to see messages getting shared out there. So, please feel free to know you can do that. What we are going to do from there is you guys are all going to submit those ads, and then you guys are going to do a round of peer assessment. And you've already been through this with Peer Scholar once in this course, but now you will be peer assessing the ads that other teams have created. You'll be applying a rubric to them and giving them some feedback. And then we're going to use those rubric scores to find the top 10 ads, the ads that you guys think are the top 10. Those 10, we are then going to do another, we'll call them the finalists. By the way, everyone who's a finalist will get a letter of recommendation from me that they can use if they're trying to get into a lab or trying to get a job. And then we are going to do another round of judging. Now, who's the we? It will be Bruce, myself, Dwayne, and potentially other people from BanAds for Gambling. So Bruce might get some of his friends to join in. And we're going to choose a top 3. Those top 3 will have other sort of advantages. One of them is Bruce has kindly offered to give a letter of reference, and Bruce has a darn good reputation and a lot of good friends. So a letter of reference from Bruce is a highly valuable thing. And we're going to look at also, what we could potentially do with your ads. It would be your intellectual property. So obviously any decisions about, posting them on a website or sharing them in any way would be done in concert with you. We would reach out and connect with you. But hey, if we got some really good ads, we may want to try to use them in some way. So that's the kind of idea. But throughout this whole process, just by learning about this issue and by communicating with friends and family and maybe sharing some of your work, you can be really having an impact in this critical period where the bill is out, but it's still sort of in transition, and as there's a buzz in society, and especially if MPPs and senators get wind of that buzz, that people want to see S269 pass, that will have an influence, and you can be part of that change. So I always find that exciting. I never liked assignments where you just wrote them and the prof marked them and then they disappeared. This is one that hopefully will live on and could have a real impact. Wow, I don't know what else we need to talk about, Bruce, but is there anything else you wanted to throw in here?
I just want to thank everybody and you, Steve and Dwayne, for this opportunity. We will certainly circulate the best ads, and we if they're as good as we think they're going to be, big pressure, everybody. We will make them part of our lobbying and public awareness efforts going ahead. This is really important. This is really important. Not so long ago, one of the leaders of the Canadian Mental Health Association from Saskatchewan told us that they've changed their programming about the challenges related to sports betting and gambling from grade 9 to grade 1.
Whoa.
Because of the insidious influence of gambling ads on children and youth. How do you get to that generation? How do we get to public decision makers? Yeah. There are a variety of ways, but ads and effective media is one way. So we're calling on your help. And we look forward to seeing the results of your work. Thank you very, very, very much.
That's fantastic, Bruce. That's scary, but the curriculum change part is scary. Fantastic. Bruce and I will be coming to class on Friday the 17th of November to talk a little bit more about this, to answer some questions, to do a little bit of, I've got some ideas about getting, not a survey, but to use Top Hat to have some interactions with you and find out, how much this is affecting maybe your life. But we're going to be there to answer questions as well and just chat. So please come out on the 17th if you'd like to be part of that. And yeah, for the next few weeks, this is going to be a fun thing. I'm going to be continually available, so you can see my name here, Steve Jordans, steve.jordans@utoronto.ca. If you have any questions about this assignment, I'm going to kind of oversee this. I'm kind of taking this, not from Dwayne, but Dwayne has said that he knows this is my baby to do this kind of stuff. So he said, yeah, you can go ahead and oversee it. So any questions, any thoughts, come to me with those. I'll happily answer them. We have a live Q&A in the Quarkus page. So As I get questions, I will post the questions and the answers there so that they're available for all to see. So keep an eye on that live Q&A, and make sure you read everything in the Quirkus site, including the links I sent along that really give you the context for all of this, I think. But other than that, I just want to again thank Bruce for your time and for your passion. I have to say, when I turned on CP24 and I saw Bruce there and I saw the passion with which he's coming at this issue, I understand it, because sports is his life. And while we're focusing on the dangers of sports gambling, which are strong, there's also just I don't know, what would you call it, Bruce? Just the bummer of what this does to sports. I mean, it's sports are supposed to be the end, right? Yeah.
It disembodies sports. It turns sports into these micro prop bets on your phone, not the lived, embodied cultural experience with other people, learning about yourself, learning about other people, learning about your culture, traveling around the world. I mean, it changes sports in very, very problematic ways.
Yeah.
So thanks again for all your help on this.
That's part of this whole issue too, for sure. Well, thank you, Bruce. I look forward to working with you on this, and I really look forward to the day when I hope we can have a coffee and celebrate success and seeing this go through.
Yep. Okay.
Fantastic.
Thanks everybody.